We're just gonna give a couple minutes for people to start flooding in here. And thanks to all the early birds who come here, 10, 15 minutes prior. Really appreciate you guys getting the room all warmed up. Um, like I said, this is going to be a pretty easygoing stream. Last stream, we had our Halloween stream, and that was a ton of fun. We were exploring Lolo Soon's Ghoulies profile almost the entire time, and in fact, he went off and made a game with a lot of the mechanics and things that we had talked about on the last stream. So I when it comes to I think I want to do a gaming specific stream where we like load up Tabletop Simulator and make games together in order to give us even more utility out of our Midjourney subscriptions, because you can make custom cards, you can use generators on websites in order to make the mechanics of the game, so on and so forth. So I think we're gonna have a gaming focused stream where we focus on Lolo Soon's game that he has currently in development. And we also feature I Troll for You's Blobby point and click game that he's been working on. So I feel like all three of those would be fun. Rhapsody also has a card game that she made that is really cool. It's about running a restaurant together. Um, there's just so much gaming related stuff that we're doing. It's 2 years in development now. That's awesome. But yeah, like we have so many gaming related things. I don't see why we don't just do a stream focused on that. So I expect that soon. We'll
How'd
get
you guys get so cool?
it. We just have a lot of fun on our server. This is a good time for me to just kind of intro everything here. So my name is Victor Gnarly. I'm a former visual effects artist with from Adult Swim and various other TV shows and whatnot. I'm doing this stuff with you guys now and having a ton of fun making content when it comes to whether we're making comics, we're making video, we're making games now. I guess like there's so many cool things that we're able to do with the Midjourney subscription. So we're gonna be digging all into that. Not to brag. Hey Lolo, it's good to see you, buddy. Um, I'm joined here with Kinky Kong. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, and it's good to have you on stage here with me today. And we also have Ancient Chaos from Midjourney as well here. Thank you guys.
Hello.
Yeah, hello. It's good to see all you guys here. And if there's anything that you have any questions or anything about, you're more than welcome to jump into VC Text, which is just above the stage here, in order to talk to either three of us. So if you scroll on down to the stage here, you're going to see VC Text and VC Create. VC Text is the chat you're seeing on the left side behind me here, and then VC Create is the right side big panel here, and this is where we're going to be making stuff together. So if you got some stuff that you want to show off that you've been working on, feel free to use /show and start presenting stuff here in order to uh, bring your Midjourney prompts from other places, either the Midjourney server or your own private server. It's a really good way to just quickly bring your prompts from point A to point B, and you can do that by either the website. You can click on. You know what? I'm gonna get into all that in a minute. I would much rather just get everything started here with the nice little intro for you guys. Um, Today's going to be a bit of a slower going day. Like I said earlier, I managed to injure myself yesterday, so I'm taking it easy today. I tripped down the stairs, and I'm fine. I'm fine. It's just a sprain, but it's definitely making it a bit distracting today. So I'm just going to take it easy and make some stuff I'm pretty familiar with, and start digging into your all's characters as well. So if you take a look at the Gnarly Studios server, which Kinky will has linked here in the chat, we have a whole bunch of really cool stuff for you guys to dig into, including the character portal here, which is where you can submit your own original characters for other people to use. It's a really great way to instantly get yourselves some something to start with. If any of these characters gravitate towards you, just use them. The only thing I ask is that whatever you do make with them, make sure to post inside of that category or that person's listing in the character portal, so that the person who made it will get updated. You'll see, like for example, Rodney, who's a character I'm currently throwing into the next stage comic. Rodney has all sorts of development and images in order to give me inspiration for making him a character in the comic. But he goes back all the way to version 5. So it does take me a good amount of time in order to start incorporating some of your all stuff into whether it's my series or other people's stuff. It's super cool to just see over 200 or so characters that you guys have submitted all here. So feel free to jump in there and grab a character and bring them to VC Create. So at least what I did here, and I'll show one more thing from the server here, which is the comics section. We have a whole bunch of cool channels for you guys to check out, but the comics section is actually the last one I submitted to, and this is me just documenting what happened last night. So I'll post these inside of VC Create. VC Create's a good place to share finished images, like images that you're like, this is concrete, this is something where I want to share it. There's no fixes or anything meant to be done. VC Create is really great for iterative stuff, like stuff that we're going to be working on that we expect to get iterations done on it. So if you if you look, I was just like, oh no, and then slipped, and I'm definitely exaggerating. I'm having a lot of fun with this, but I am using my profile picture to actually dictate the character art and as well as the medium of this. Of this comic. So I'm just going to submit these two for you guys here. Is this the Victor stairwell reveal? It's very close to that. I don't have a railing on the top left. I have a curved stairs that go down. But yes, it is not as some MC Escher stairs, even though that would be a really great party talking point at a party if you just randomly had some stairs that went nowhere, like a Winchester house or something. It's actually is close. Yeah, Rhapsody is the one person here who's actually seen that staircase, so she could tell you. But okay, all right. So what I submitted that into the comic section here. We have a couple cool sections for you guys as well, like medias where you guys are submitting videos and all sorts of different, just image content in general. But generally speaking, if there's a speech bubble in it, post to comics. And then we have something called the show after the show, which we'll do on the stream here towards the end, where you can hop on the stage and actually start talking to us back and forth, and we can have a good chat. But that's held on this server at the end of the stream. So okay, let's get into it, guys. This is we're on VC Create now, and we're going to be checking out some of the cool things that you guys are already working on. Victor's stairwell reveal is just walking up some big rainy steps with Midjourney video. That's awesome, Fractal Bob. I always love how much like Midjourney wants to bring us to new places when it comes to these more realistic video results. I just really dig it. I love the water going down the steps. We had a pipe burst last week. That's what that is. I hope it wasn't too much damage for you. Also, if you want to see stuff turned into video, we can do that for you here as well. You can request it inside of VC Text, and we will run that for you. And so I see you guys have already started messing with my profile picture here. But if I scroll on up to where I started this is right here. A hole blasted through a brick wall, dust, debris, and shattered bricks are airborne. His silhouette stands in the center of the hole. You'll notice that the order that I do that in is important. I'm essentially saying he stands in the center, as a silhouette at the end of the sentence, because I really want that to be in fact, the least the smallest subject within my prompt. And so I know that from experience that basically, like, if I want to get an image that looks like this, then I really want to lean on what is the most dominating aspect of the image here. So what's being used here is my profile picture, like I said earlier, and that is right here. It's the link that you see inside of the prompt, and this is it. This is my face. And the thing about this is that it's using at least an art style that I've been I've been using for so long now. These big pupil-eyed characters on black and white, like rough ink medium, basically. That's what I started with when I was like 9 years old. Trying to make comics and based off of like my favorite. Tintin mags and Suski and Wusky and other Flemish mags. I have definitely an affinity for this style, kind of mixed with the Jonan Vasquez inspiration as well. Because when I was a teen, I was a huge fan of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and all that sort of stuff. So all that gets boiled down into this character art here. So what's neat about this, though, is that we're using it as a style reference here. But if we use it as an Omni reference, then the character art is preserved in a way that's recognizable, at least at a higher value here. So if I hit reroll on this, it's going to bring up a prompt window for me that I can edit this prompt. And this is how you guys can basically jump off of anyone else's prompts and make stuff too. So you want to make sure remix mode is on, and you do that by hitting /settings and making sure the remix mode button is turned on. It'll be green if it is. And then you should be able to hit reroll or variation on any prompt, and it will pop up a window like this. And now we can simply switch it from a style reference to an Omni reference by taking the S out and putting an O. We do need to remove the style weight. I have the style weight set a bit lower so that it's not always character art that is predominant. Even at like closer to 100, like 80, like 70 or 80, the character art really starts to, define the image. So whenever you do have that sort of, I'm always getting the same thing, you can lower these values to help you out in that regard. So a lower style weight for this image helps out to really flesh out the image as you have it written in the prompt. But we are using it as an Omni reference, so instead I'll use --OW, and then we can set it to something like, I don't know, like 155 or so. Anything below 100 for Omni referencing of character art is definitely going to give you a like some variation of the art style in some way, but oftentimes you need that in order to kind of pull yourself out of these sort of repetitive holes that using the exact same Omni reference will do. But you can see some folks are already going into it, like they're using it as both a style reference and an Omni reference in order to have the character art pop out. I definitely look like I'm in prison on the bottom left one, but on the bottom right, I really like that one. That one's really cool. Thank you, Gom. That one's pretty neat. His dramatic entrance as well. This is another one, but they're using profiles from Gom. So you're more than welcome to add on anything you want into these prompts in order to kind of liven them up however you prefer. By default, you're going to get some black and white art, and that really teaches us what each parameter does. Like it gives us a much cleaner idea or clearer idea of what these of what each setting does to help describe each parameter. So like we're going to do that today. We're going to use this very simple art. My art is very simple. We're going to use this simple art to be able to describe each parameter step by step so that you guys know what you can do with it. If you are, a returning person, which we got a good crowd here. This is like 32 people here. Good to see you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. I know that we got a good chunk of regulars here too. So if this is something that you want to mix it up and change it up, I'm more than happy to do that. But I've already seen some really badass stuff from you guys just using my profile pictures. So feel free to grab your own profile picture and give this a try. If you want it to match with whatever we're doing today, use it as a style reference. Like use my profile picture as the style reference and your art as the Omni reference in order to kind of see a middle ground between the two. So we can see here that with the Omni reference instead of the style reference, boom, that is now my character. Almost, yeah, basically in all four results, he comes through, and we get a nice, good break of the brick wall here on the third one. I love the third one a lot. My profile pic is too tiny for reasonable use. Oh, let's so say it. I do like this third one a lot, though, so I'm going to up-res that one. Here's Victor as John Wick. That's awesome, Enid. I definitely see the I definitely see the actor in there for 100%. I always get thrown off whenever I see Victor with facial hair because my instinct is to just in paint that off. But yes, it's totally him, John Vick. But now let's try to take this up another like ooh wait. So I can see here that Rhapsody used a style reference code, which you can grab all sorts of cool codes for remixing and adding color to these results by going to the Midjourney website. So if we go to the explore page up here at midjourney.com, you're going to see the new style selector here. And you could just hit try style to instantly dig into this stuff. But this will let you be able to modify the limiters that we have with just using my profile pic as a style reference or an Omni reference. You can pick one that complements it in the sense that it's mostly black and white like this one here, right? Or you can start to incorporate specific colors like this one here. I'm going to take this one. And you can just click on the style reference here to get it up on the bar up here, and I just copy it over. And I'm going to bring this to VC Create just so it's nice and easy for you guys. But I'll go ahead and re-roll the one that Rhapsody did. And I'm just going to now submit this as the style reference. Just delete the one that's here and paste this one. And you can see just what sort of differences on the influence it has on the images. There's already some pretty cool stuff with the big old bug-eyed Victor here. Well, these are already adorable. I love making comics. I love being able to tell stories with Midjourney, and this method of starting off with just a black and white image really taught me the fundamentals of what not only what each parameter does, what each profile does, so on and so forth, but also just like what sort of expectation I can get out of a single image, right? It's so diverse. It's ridiculous what you can do by just saying, hey, I want to explore comic panels. Like not even have anything, a concrete idea in mind, just saying comic panels and seeing what it produces for you. And Senor Turkey, that was a decaf coffee, and yeah, this is great. Definitely in line with my comics too. This is adorable. I love the art style in this one. Good job. I'm gonna upres one of those too. A man stumbling down a staircase. Chaos 11. Aspect ratio 916, and then two different style references because you can totally combine them together. You can smash them all together in order to create your own unique look. I know there are people who contribute to our streams who basically like dedicate to themselves to particular images or particular style references in order to maintain that personality, that style throughout this. So and that's a very cute zombie Rhapsody from the Lolosoon stream. But you could see this sort of composition that like Nixie was able to get out of these houses here. It just tells such a strong story to me. Like I'm able to just instantly be like, oh, it's all these people living on top of this single little island that's in the middle of an ocean, that kind of thing. Like it's almost like a lighthouse community, that kind of thing. I think it's really cool. I like it. Let's kind of dig anime comic manga of a dramatic entry. Nice. This is using all of Rhapsody's insane anime profiles and things. And this one, the top right right one is certainly in line with the electric or Victory or whatever, the electric superhero version or supervillain version of Victor. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so here is the difference, though. I think this is super important to highlight here because for all the cool stuff that we saw earlier, you got to remember that the style reference that I picked was this one. So I'm going to click on it, and we're going to compare them now because this is going to be like, one of the first like forays into into like true personalization with Midjourney, making something that's your own. And the thing is that with this image here, this is the original image. We saw all the results earlier and how much it predominantly is black and white. But as soon as we incorporate that style reference, we can see that influence, that sort of noise and grain from that from this style. Like this looks like almost like TV static. It has this element of texture to it that is predominant in all of these results. And just like we expect, it's also predominant in these results too. I feel like the third one is me as Mr. Burns, like after like being lost in the woods. Uh, but but yeah, no, this is great. This is an example of like really why I tried to limit my like the images themselves to just what I really want it to take, which is the character art for this and the black ink style here. Ooh. Ooh, the riding a skeletal horse. I've definitely done skeletal dragons, not a skeletal horse. This is awesome. The top right one again is that one's rad. Um, let's take a look. Oh, it's are you let me see. Let me see what you're using here. Okay, yes, so that's your Omni reference. And what's your style reference? Okay, it's me. Okay, cool. This looks sick. That's awesome. And it's definitely using some profiles, some of those anime profiles. Um yeah, I the dramatic oh wow. I'm loving these with the angel wings too. Okay, I could keep gushing about all these all I want, but it's really stuff like what Lolo Soon's doing here that really takes it up to the next level, which is knowing where the parameters can be abused. I can tell because he's using style at 1,000, like just maxing out the style of this. And I mean, this feels like it's the foundations of an initial start of a story. There's some perspective warp and things like that that we would probably re-roll around, but it is really cool. It is really cool to see these kind of suggestions of panels, and we'll be able to expand on this to where we could see, oh, this is where we can go even farther. This is where we can expand, say, what is the next panel of this comic, that kind of thing. Um, Senior Turkey's going hard. Okay, we've caught up. Good. We've caught up now. What I want to do is I want to try to tell a little story today as well, but I want to go through each one of these parameters just to give us a good idea of everything that kind of that you can do with a single image. Just to give us a good starting point here. Um, and I am going to first start off with because I think Lolo Soon was kind of a little early on the money with this one when it comes to the style because I was going to go in the other direction, which is perfect. So if I click on reroll here, I'm going to just take each parameter one at a time. So I'm going to first just take out these profiles just so that I can really show off what I want to show here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start working with a style of 0 instead of 1,000. And then compare them between, and it's otherwise the parameters are the same. It'll definitely not have those profiles attached to it, but I want to show you at least what happens when we do a style 0 as well, because there is utility in that as well. You'll mostly notice it whenever you're using a style reference. That the style weight is how you balance exactly how much is just raw Midjourney image result and how much of it is based off of the images that you provide as the style reference. There's some fun stuff here already. We'll check that out in just a minute here. But here is with style 0. When you use style 0, remember earlier there was a lot of etching. There was a lot of like texture and all that sort of stuff. If we drop the style to 0, the line art gets suddenly really straight, like really clean. It really does feel like that this is just a final pass on an ink image. But if we go back to style 1,000, which we saw up here, look at how much effort. It almost feels like an effort bar, when it comes to like the amount of line work, amount of texture that's there. And this is style 1,000. So that gives us an idea of, oh, okay, if I do want to do minimalist comic art, then a lower style will oftentimes give us that result. It could lead to errors by min-maxing it like this, right? Like going to absolute zero or absolute 1,000 or max or whatever. But that's the first sort of lesson here, is that at least for this Omni reference specifically, if we drop the style to zero, it just makes the line art really straight. Like it almost feels like it's a straight print mag to me. Let's take a look at some of the other, like, see here, more style zero stuff, where now that we're going so far with style zero, it even starts to break in some places. Like look at her knees and her body here. I feel like that is also being influenced by style zero. But let's go ahead and now bring in another parameter. I'm just going to actually go to the website here, parameters, just so I have a handy dandy list here. Okay. We have been using aspect ratio already. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? Just set an aspect ratio, and that's what your image comes out to. Whenever you're expanding off of this stuff, it is important to understand like the math behind that. But the website makes that much easier, and there's also limits about using Omni reference and expanding the canvas, like sizing in Discord. So we usually just use the website now for that kind of thing, using the website editor. And we'll get into that here in a minute. But I'm seeing some real fun style references from you guys. Now again, like if you use style reference zero, right, and you're using a style reference here, then you're actually saying, nah, I don't want to use almost any of that information at all. So you need some of it. You need a little bit of a number there. If you set it to zero and then include a style reference, it's effectively not including a style reference at all. So let's bump that up just a little teeny bit. Let's go for like 25 on there, and then hit submit. And this tiny comic character, Fallen Angel, 20 centimeters high. There is other people around, black and white. It's very cute. Comic style reference. Oh, okay. I like all the profiles are dictating all these for sure. That's cool. Oh, wait. This is like I found a oil painting at Goodwill or something, and it's still incorporating plenty of the texture and etching that's there. But I love this. I love the fact that it's showing almost like a rough pencil work that only has been darkened by pencil. Like that feels cool. I like that. But I want to see what it was when we added just a little bit of style here. Style weight. Yep. Okay. So with the style weight set to 25, now we're starting to get a little more influence of that, and it's hard for me to tell exactly what it is without knowing what the style reference is. But it's probably another black and white piece with it not introducing any color or anything like that. That would be my guess. You can see here now it introduces color because it is at the style weight of 222, and that's how you calibrate your style references, especially if you want to. If you don't want to be dependent on a singular image, it is important to kind of understand what that value does. We also have another parameter which is quite common that you guys are going to see a lot of people here using, which is chaos. Let's start off with a standard prompt here that will just get us an idea of what chaos is going to do. I'm gonna pick one that doesn't already have a bunch. You know what? I'm just gonna make a new one. We're on turbo mode here, so we can make things real fast. So let's go ahead, hit imagine, and then I'm just gonna do some generic comic panels. Let's say multiple comic panels, and then I am going to include the OREF from from my character art here. Okay. Like so. And then, there you go. Yeah, he took his mustache and beard off. Thank you, Eden. John Vick. But now what I'm going to do is I've included the Omni reference of my profile picture, and we are going to add a you know what? Let's just first add an aspect ratio of 4:5 just to get us the raw image, and then we'll start adding chaos incrementally to get an idea of what this does. I love the jump, by the way. This is fun, Turkey, Senior Turkey. But let's see here. What am I gonna get off of this one here? Um, why are they all so sad? But the actual omni weight by default, I believe, is 100, which is a little high for character art, in my opinion, when you're really trying to get a lot of diversity off of the images. So we're gonna balance that out a little bit first, and then we are going to start messing with our uh, what is it? Start messing with our chaos value here. So you can see that the default, it's very much my face, just many times over, right? This is the default value for OmniWeight. It's I would much rather lower this a bit. So let's go ahead and try that real quick. Oops. Reroll here, and then I'm gonna set the OmniWeight to 50. Let's start with that. So with the default 150 is what we're gonna go with, and we can go as high as 1,000 on that, but um, when it comes to anything, like we really want to see some diversity in these results. So let's give that a go. All right. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'm so glad that it's Friday. I am eager to. I have a puzzle night tomorrow with a friend of mine that my partner and I are going to be doing. It's going to be fun. We're going to be watching some bad movies. Purposely watching bad movies because we don't really want to focus too much on what we're watching. We just want some background noise for hanging out and doing puzzles. So that'll be maybe we should do that one day where we actually make some sort of like puzzles that make sense. It's there's a little bit of a game you can play right now, which is find the bad generated puzzles at Walmart. You can go to the Walmart kids section and look at the puzzles and be like, okay, guess how many of them are AI generated, and it's it's kind of surprising how many of them. But if you there's one store that I'm not going to name the name of because I don't support them at all, much less than Walmart. But they're kind of notorious for that right now, for having all these generated products in their stores. But let's take a look at this now. We have a omni weight of 50. And now look at how much diversity happens with the actual character art that's featured here. It's still very much, my face again and again and again, but now there's a lot more diversity of the actual character style, like art design and style that's here. So what we want to learn from that is that we can balance based on just how much we want the character art to change is what we can apply with the Omni reference. I'm gonna go just a wee bit higher, but the thing is that at this point, I really want to I really want us to kind of dive into style reference as well. So I'm gonna just take a look at what happens now if we apply chaos to this, because we're getting a lot of the same, right? A lot of just face here, but I want to bring it up just a little bit. So let's go for 70 instead of 50. But now I'm going to add hyphen C, which stands for chaos. And we're going to set that to, let's start with a really low number, 4. Any amount of chaos is going to do something. Sometimes it's pretty dramatic too. So it's best to start with a real low number for chaos. What is ooh? I like this. This is Ancient Chaos's character here. This is what happens when you apply it to me. This is so cool. I love that. It is really cool for getting those dramatic close-ups and really interesting composites or panel layouts and stuff. I love that. And this is already some pretty cool stuff from you guys here. Okay. Ooh. I'm gonna have to dig through all these later and maybe make a comic of all whatever you guys have been getting into. So you can see here with a chaos of 4, Now they're like even the order of the panels is different. It's started to incorporate color into one of them. Like this is there's already a lot of divergence that happens. But the higher the chaos number goes, at least in my experience, the higher the number goes, the more it tends to settle on a particular image. So let's try now to bump up that chaos value and see what we can learn from that. Because I'm going. This is what I'm going to assume. I'm going to do a prediction here. If I increase the chaos level, we get less panels. So let's go ahead and do that. That may sound counterintuitive, but let's go from 40 to 40. Let's just add a 0 to the end of that. Because in my experience, chaos tends to like settle on the image quicker, where it's like, hey, I want to I want to see an image that is maybe more based or more or less based on other existing works in some way, and chaos tends to give me something that feels more like a whole image. So like it's kind of hard to describe, honestly, even for me. I've done this now for 2 years here, and it's the chaos is one of the harder variables to describe what it does. But in my experience, that we should see these images settle. And it did exactly that. So with a chaos of 40, now we have some really wild stuff that we were able to find here. Not only are the panels individually larger, it's still focusing on my face. There's still elements of diversity in the character arts, especially the top left one. The top left one looks straight up from an awesome horror thing. I'm gonna also upres that one. I see the third one has been upres. Look at this. It almost feels like one of those images that's been built by many thumbnails. But this is like one of those that where I feel like it's more like a rabbit hole of ideas that I would get lost into, my black hole of daydreaming. That's what this is. This is awesome. Thanks for upscaling that I troll for you. Ooh, the little angel, dramatic flying fallen angel with the sword. That's awesome. Definitely almost like a cartoon jump on the bottom right corner there. Boing! That's great. That's so funny. But you could see what's happening here, though, is that we're starting to settle on a singular image. I feel like is what happens with the chaos values. So let's go ahead and go even higher. What happens if we go to? I think this is too high. I don't think we can go that high in chaos. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's 100. So we'll pop ourselves back up and then hits. Now let's go for 80. We're just gonna keep doubling. Last time we added a 0. Now we're gonna double it. And we will immediately start to see that it diverges super heavily from our intention or not intention of the pattern that we were seeing earlier. Multiple comic panels featuring Ancient here. That's awesome. The cat on the bottom left is great. You're gonna see me in my final form, and then you transform into a cat. Okay. Let's see here. What is this unused new weird or slash variation option in V7? Yeah, we don't really use weird very much, and I'll get into weird here in a minute. But now at a chaos of 80, this is nuts. Not only does only one image feature Victor, like looking like Victor. I mean, the bottom left one has me in the corner there. I was lost in the middle of a deep winter, and this couple pulled me out of the snow and is warming me up in their little house. That's what I'm seeing here in the bottom left. But I love the top right. It feels like something from, I don't know, like Final Fantasy. Like this top right one here, it's like 3D art, but it definitely entertains me. I guess it's lagging a little bit here, but the bottom right is quite literally just emojis at this point, with sort of Victor like almost like Tim Burton esque emojis. That's interesting. So at this point though, we're gonna let this stuff load here. It seems like we're running into a little bit of a lag here with the upscaling. So I'm going to check out some of the stuff that you guys have done. Nixie's doing some cool stuff here. depicting him hiking up a windy road towards a mysterious cabin at the top of the hillside. Expansive views of Twilight fall-themed features. That's awesome. I love this. Just re-roll this a ton, and you got a completed comic or foundation to at least the exploration of it. If you need like an inciting incident, you're gonna need that climax, all that kind of stuff. We'll have to incorporate. But this is a good opportunity for me to show off an easily abused parameter, which is called repeat. I like this so much. What if I want to see it a bunch of times? So I'll hit reroll here, and I'm going to add one parameter here, which is hyphen repeat. And it does exactly what it says. It's just going to repeat this prompt multiple times. And you could set it to a ridiculously high number, which is 40. I am going to set it to 10 because I think 40 is a bit absurd. Keep in mind, every result gives you 4 images. So that means that with a repeat of 10, we're going to get 40 images anyway. So if we did repeat 40, that would be 160 images, or 160 reroll or final images of this prompt. So with the 10, I'm going to hit yes. It always asks you on a repeat, are you sure you want to do this? Because this could take up a good chunk of your fast hours if you're not careful. So I only recommend using repeat when you are when you really know that you're going to want to see a bunch of it. That's the only way that you can be happy with yourself after that. Don't we all abuse repeat during relaxation? Right. The Relaxathon was a great time to do that for sure. I wonder if we're going to do that again. When you need to peter again, and yeah. It is certainly true that I rarely use repeat myself, because I tend to be a little obsessive with changing stuff around. Ooh, Ancient running some video of these comic panels here. Another really cool thing about this, by the way, is that we are able to say, hey, use Midjourney Video to give me the next panel or the next scene from this, and you can use the neighboring images to kind of help guide those results too. Whether it's a future generation of variations and stuff, or you're doing it with video like this, where there could be some value in screen grabbing specific frames here. So yeah, it is really cool though. I think that there's a lot of potential with using comics in Midjourney Video particularly. So let's see our repeat 40 here. Just to give you an idea of what this looks like, we could basically start to cycle through all of these results. This is going to be 40 total images, and we could just pick our favorites in order to start exploring this world here. And I do like some of these. I do see that pattern. I do see that sort of like repetition of like these vertical panels, right? We would be able to use the editor to kind of say, hey, I like this one panel. Let's expand on that and make that a big one. That kind of thing. We'll use the editor to do that here in a bit. I love this one though. So that's cool. I'm basically just going to upscale my favorites here. I like this one. And yeah, I think the originals were my favorites too, from this. So let's go for that. And then we're going to dig into some additional parameters here. Then Snoopus McBoopus arrives, comic panels. Hey, good to see you, Snoopy. Let's see here. Oh, look at the first one here. Yeah, it is certainly interesting to see these higher chaos values and how it gives you just something wild every time. And this is just using a profile here, so there's no omni reference, no style reference on these, and you can just get an idea of just the wild diversity that you get off of raw chaos results like this. And I know Snoopy tends to dive into that stuff quite heavily. It's awesome. Okay. So you can see here, it still kept the vertical paneling, like these blocky panels that are here come from the multiple panels part of the prompt, okay? Multiple comic panels. So if we did say like a remix of this, in fact, I should probably go back down to that. Okay. If we did a remix of this, and let's just say that we did a very strong here. I'm going to get rid of multiple comic panels now. just depicting him hiking. Let's see what that does here for us. Because I feel like if we did a variation strong, we're going to get enough variation inside of the composition that we'll get something interesting out of that. The main difference between very strong and very subtle is that it keeps the that variation subtle will keep the composition of whatever image you have and change the context within that composition. So we would still see a hill-like shape in a character of some sort, maybe not even a character, maybe a prop or something that's in the middle here, but it would still be this composition. A variation strong is going to change the composition of the image, but keep it in line or follow through with whatever was featured in here. And you can see just by knowing what is giving you those patterns, we can essentially control Midjourney in a very, very tangible way. People that say that, oh, you're just kind of RNG, RNGs us all the way all with re-rolling is so wrong. You really are able to control this stuff if you just understand the parameters from Midjourney. So with this one, it's just a matter of removing that one prompt that was simulating multiple panels by doing a framing within trees, and now we don't see that anymore. Now we just get one nice big panel of him going up this path. So yeah. And it's, again, the variation strong is more than representative here. We're able to see the character going up a hill-like structure and doing everything else the prompt says, but we're just not seeing that one thing I didn't like about it, right? So, more manga stuff. That's a lot of profiles. That's 5 different profiles smashed together. That's awesome. All right. Is this another spontaneous levitation moment? Because that's one of my favorite prompts, but I don't think it is. It is definitely levitating. Let's see what the prompt is here. The dramatic moment as he floats in the air above the city. Oh, you guys are going so fast. Hold on. As he floats above the city, arms stretched out before the big moment when he gains full powers. Oh my god, I got all full powers coming. So there's like, this very much feels like I'm being ascended into heaven. I definitely would not be one of the floaty people. Let's go ahead and hit reroll on this, and I'm going to show you a pretty fun prompt for that, okay? Let's go ahead and say that this is the dramatic moment as he spontaneously levitates. And I'm going to do one other word, one of my favorite words when it comes to getting funky, silly, like I'm not able to control myself sort of moments. I just usually like to add the word discombobulated. Discombobulated pose. Let's go for that. He has a discombobulated pose. I just keep thinking back to that movie where it's discombobulate. And it just makes people kind of like their limbs all wild and stretched out in weird places. So we'll see what that does to modify your prompt here. There's some really crazy stuff up here, though. Is this you guys all digging into chaos? Wow. Look at that. That's awesome. It's Snoopy going hard. Okay. So here's some discombobulated poses. They're loading up right now. Spontaneous Louvre robbing. Okay. Yeah, let's steal all the art. Snoopy is the chaos. Yes, exactly. Snoopy is indeed the creature of chaos today. Okay. So here's the dramatic moment, spontaneous levitation, and discombobulate. Look at the pose. The pose is way sillier than the trouble darling. Yeah, she is certainly a trouble darling. But the discombobulated pose really, really sells it to me as being wacky or zany or any of the other cartoony words. So I love using that prompt. It just gets me in a sillier place, like this. Yay! So let's take a look here. I mean, some of these feel like noir, like private investigator comics. Oh, the family barbecue dramatic moment of spontaneous levitation. Yes. Now it looks like they're all doing like one of those wedding photos where they all jump at the same time. But What I want you guys to also experiment with is we're gonna change out the Omni reference at the end of this after we dig through a few more parameters here and really dive into some of the core features of these parameters. I am then going to add one of you guys as a companion to Victor in the Omni reference, so we can see them side by side. The trick is that we're going to use them as a style reference in order to make a character that is in the same style as Victor here. Thank you guys for letting me indulge on a Victor focused stream because it means I can easily make these into comics later. I really do appreciate that. It's just how I prefer to work is within this medium. So thank you. But it is a lot of fun to start to explore where Victor goes with you guys, especially when we start to apply chaos and other things that really change up the formula. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to grab another parameter here. Just a moment. Why am I not finding this? Just a second here. I must have exited out of my list here. Okay. Let's go for now negative prompts. If you are seeing something in your images that you do not want to see specifically, you can re-roll with a negative prompt, especially when you start to see patterns that you don't like. That's really where negative prompts come in handy for me. So let's say here, multiple comic panels, creatures, action pose, dynamic action. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of purple, pink lightning, all this kind of stuff. Enid stuff. Yeah, there's Enid. Yeah, that's awesome. But say I didn't want to have Victor be a sword fighter here. Like I could see on that fourth result, there's a sword. Or maybe I didn't want him to otherwise have some aspect that's inside of the Omni reference. It doesn't work as well if you're fighting your Omni reference for that. So like if I said no black hair, for example, it'd give me a little bit of a fight. But there's nothing mentioned of swords inside of the prompt. But I'm seeing one. So what if we did this? I'll re-roll this, and I'll add hyphen no. And then we're going to say sword. What this does, what negative prompting really does, is that it takes the idea, the visual information of what a sword is, and then avoids that shape, that imagery from your result. Sometimes you get like the opposite effect where it just indulges on that shape. I don't know why, but sometimes it just happens. But negative prompting can be very useful for specifically trying to explore some away or trying to move away from certain patterns that you get off of a result. Like you love everything, but there's one thing that keeps repeating inside of your prompt. Negative prompts come in handy to fix that. So in fact, I think no weapon is going to add to it. And I have a theory why that is. But you could see with no sword, now he combats the creatures with anything but a sword. The others have swords. Like I'm seeing some creatures in the background having a sword, but it's all now magic powers and other non-utensil, non held weapon like that. I know Lolo Soon's work from a mile away. This orange just screams Lolo, but this is awesome. And you're just digging into different style references here as well as different profiles. It's pretty cool. I love that. Yes! Rhapsody. Lanky gaunt man breaking through a solid wall. There are bricks flying outward everywhere. His fist is held forwards, filling most of the frame. Behind the fist, we see his eyes glinting in the darkness. I love these results. These are what I want to see whenever I'm doing I'm gonna do an action sequence. I'm gonna fight somebody, that kind of thing. I'm gonna re-roll this so that it's inside of my library. But I also want to just the fourth one here. Doing a variation subtle of this will give me something really cool to work with too. And you could see here this sort of pattern of seeing my face constantly, repeating on here. It is one of those things where dropping because this is using Niji 6 instead of version 7. So this is way more common in version 7 results, where the character reference heavily dictates the composition, while with omnireference that's not nearly as true. So basically, like, going back to Niji 6 can be helpful, but it tends to create this sort of repeating pattern to where negative prompts come more in handy, and so on and so forth. The quirks between every model is something that you really shouldn't just like research. You should just play with it and learn what sort of patterns you get with certain models. I'm using V7 so much that I sometimes feel like I can control it better by now than Niji, which is kind of sad. Yeah, I mean, Niji, to me, the limitations with it tend to be that I know it too well in terms of like what it's going to give me. I want to have that diversity. I want to be able to be surprised by my results when it comes to getting something that I find exciting. But if I'm using it as a utility, I do use the EG6 quite often in order to be like, I need my character doing this in a certain way. Especially if I already have an existing image that is super close to what the result I want. But let's take a look now at which one was the one that I was messing with. This is the standing on the toilet and just Muppet face. I don't know what to do, what to interpret with that one. But let's take a look now. Okay, yes, this one here. So I just really love this. It just feels like a something, a homebrew, like a proper I made this webcomic. So let's go ahead and hit variation settle on this just to see what sort of diversity we get off of this result. Because I feel like little things like the line art, like all that kind of stuff, we can see improved with a single style reference reroll. Or not style reference, sorry, variation reroll. Variation subtle. Oh, wow. Yeah. This is some fun stuff from you guys here. But we're going to expand on one of these and see where it goes. Just want to find that variations. Yeah, it's rendering right now. All right. So with the variation subtle, you can see just how much the hair becomes broken within the brick. You can see how much the hand is changing to accommodate like slightly different hatching styles, so on and so forth. I really do dig these. Ooh, we got some stuff from Kinky here. We got some gifts. That's awesome.
Oh, those are from Lolo. I just animated them so that he
Oh,
wouldn't have to.
oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Lolo, and thank you, Kinky. That's hilarious.
Anytime.
I feel like I broke my legs and I have to get out of prison. Like that's like I'm in shackles, maybe. That's interesting. Oh no! Whatever I'm eating on the bottom right corner is very bloody. Let's see here. Dramatic multi-panel comic. A Renfield eats a fly. I don't want to eat a fly. Don't make me eat flies. It's like a mosquito though. Like it's all bloody. Okay. We're gonna start moving on. So let's see here. We have a couple really fun panels of just like going into almost like a Twilight Zone sort of space with Victor. He breaks through the wall of a universe and just ends up in the Twilight space. There's a lot of really fun ones here. Um, but I'm going to go ahead and jump over to another parameter here. Yeah, that's the one that weirds me out right now, Snoopy. Freaking me out. Um, let's go ahead and now move on to what parameters next. What was on my list? I have a list here. Okay. Okay. We talked about style or hyphen S already. But it is important to recognize again, if you're using a style reference, that's your slider for that. So if you set it to 0, you're not going to use it at all. It's like as if you didn't use it at all. But if we're going to try one that has a bit more utility to it now. It's not very relevant to character art, but that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to describe a scene that I want to see repeating, like as a visual image. So let's try this really quick. I'm going to keep it as a style reference. Are we? Is this both the style and yes? Okay, so you're using both Omni and Yeah, I'll keep that. I'll keep that for now. I'm going to get rid of the profile. That's here. But I'm going to add one parameter here, which is hyphen hyphen tile. This will let it repeat the image like a texture. So if you need to have like a pattern or anything like that, like a wallpaper sort of deal, or maybe you're doing texture mapping in a video game, that kind of thing, then it is important to understand that you can use tile to make these patterns. If I use Victor as an Omni reference, the problem with that is that we're going to see him show up as a pattern, which is fine, but I want to really show off what this can do. So let's get rid of the Omni reference and just do it as a style reference for this parameter specifically. I'm sure we'd get some sort of like Escher repeat, like we'll just get some funny repeating patterns of his face, but I want to go ahead and do it as a style reference to see what we can get off of this. And then we'll just say that this is yeah, we'll just go off of your weird eating a fly one. Sure, why not? Why not? I like bugs. I don't know why you're making me eat them, but that's okay. Let's see what this happens. Let's see what happens here. Shigawire says, so as long as you're using an sref, your stylized doesn't take any cues from the default, etc. Midjourney style. So as long as you're using an sref, yes, I believe that's true. It really, you're gonna have to take an overextended nap. Have a good night, everybody. Yeah, please do, Raps. Take care and take it easy. We'll see you next week. So let's see here with the tile function. There's so many cute ones. I'm seeing a lot of dresses, but I wanna find the one where I did the style, the tile on it. So let's see. Tile. Yep. Okay. All right. So the thing is, this is kind of hard to visualize with the multiple comic panels and all that sort of stuff. It's not a good example. So I'm going to make a better example. I'm going to get rid of all the comic panel stuff, and we're going to give a very simple pattern to make. So let's do roses. Even though it's going to be black ink because of the style reference, it is something that I'm going to just get it to do some flowers, get it to do some repeating stuff. Confront your patterns, Vic. Oh my God, look at that. This almost feels like you faked an image. The way that it's doing this is kind of nuts, actually. What is going on here? I have a lot of questions for that prompt. Okay, all right. So here's roses. You can notice that with the tile, it's not obvious right off the bat what exactly is happening here. Okay, but let me upscale one of them for you to let you see it in action. Okay. There are ways to like automate, like to make this a little more obvious on its own, but I'm going to do this inside of Photoshop so you guys can see what this looks like. I am going to load that up here and swap ourselves over to my tablet really quick. And it's too small for spoilers on my next comic, so that's fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into expand the canvas here. So we're going to go into image, canvas. And then I am going to change it to percentage in order to essentially say I want it to be 300% vertical and 300% wide. And the reason why is because we want to demo the tile on this. So you can see here that now the only thing I have to do is repeat this image, like duplicate the layer, and then drag it over here, duplicate the layer, drag it over here, and then take all three of these and duplicate it down. And one more time, duplicate it up. Boom. And there you go. There's tile in action. It's really amazing, actually, for doing like game textures and stuff like that. But it's really surprising what you can turn into a tile. It essentially guarantees that the edges of your images are going to overlap like this. If you want to play a game like Pac-Man or something like that, you could totally make repeating background textures and stuff with this too. So look at that. It's awesome. I love tile. It's probably one of the most utility-driven parameters in Midjourney, at least in my opinion. Okay. All right. So that's tile. You made a tile of me. So yeah, it's like, okay, you want a repeating texture with a bunch of negative space in between, you might as well just use an image, right? But yeah, it is certainly true that especially for patterns, tile is just super useful. Um, okay, so let's see, what do we got next? Like I said, I wanted to go through the basics for you guys using something with very simple line art, so that we can really see what happens when we start to incorporate different, parameters and prompts. Wait, Puzzle Night gets tricky when pieces don't seem to match the box of the picture. Looks are exchanged. Cozy styled living room. This is adorable. I look like I'm having like popcorn with Enid. You just need pink hair on the top right one here, and then that's us having a movie night. Um, so we'll demo that really quick. It'll take 2 seconds. Let's do it. Yeah. So I just come into here, hit vary region. Now this is probably because it's an Omni reference will not work. Because I'll give it a try. I believe it won't work though. So we're just gonna select all the black hair. That is an artifact of Victor's art being included in here. And I'm just going to there we go, and say we have to make sure all of that hair is selected here, and I'm just going to replace all of this with pink hair, long pink hair, and then hit submit. Yep, that's what I thought. We're going to get an error with the editor inside of Discord because this used an Omni reference. So we're going to jump into the editor within midjourney.com for this one. Copy image address. We go to midjourney.com, and that lets us get to the editor. We'll just hit paste URL, get that in there, and now I can just highlight her hair like we did on Discord. We have a lot more, like a much cleaner tool to use inside of here. So we will go ahead and just get that all nice. There we go, and say now long pink hair. And I don't need to worry about a lot of additional parameters or profiles or anything when doing in painting because so much of the art style is already being depicted by the image itself. A lot of interrogation happens whenever we're doing this sort of stuff. So if you want to move away from that interrogation, that's where your parameters come in more handy. Like if say like you really do not want it to match the art style of the image, then you're going to start using chaos and other parameters to kind of drive away from that. So we pick which one as the my favorite with the pink hair. I think this one's really cute with the little bow there, or like the hair tie. What do you think, Enid? Is this one cute? Yes. Yeah, there you go. Sorry to put you on the spot there for a second. But we're going to go ahead and upscale this one then. And we will see what we get. I'm in a dozen windows. I'm inside of a dozen windows. You can see me from all sides. I'm in a glass house. Oh, that shifting my leg definitely hurt there for a second. Oh God. Yeah, I do want to say like I injured myself yesterday, so if I groan or make any weird noises, that's why. Let's see here. It's just about done rendering. I'm gonna make sure we share this inside of VC Create for everybody, and then we'll move on to the next parameter here. I hope you guys are having a great day and are enjoying the stream here. I really do love when you guys like hop in and chat and make stuff with us. So I really do want to see us pushing the boundaries of what we can do with this particular image, just because I know that I'm going to be able to use that later, and I will certainly be digging through the entire feed to collect these images. But it trained me senpai. But we'll see what we get off of by the time we get to the end here, because there's already some really fun like wild stuff that really goes out from my style normally, like this. This is wild. Thank you, Fractal Bob. Oh, okay. Just two random chill. Like any of these kind of 90s, 80s throwback stuff, I think of like the old music videos I used to watch on MTV, right? This is it. Like that that's the style. And we might be able to use that as a style reference with my character in order to make it feel like it's something from that era, particularly like daytime television stuff. Falling through an infinite tesseract. That's funny. All right. So, what was I gonna do here? What are these problems? A live action 1990s TV show. There you go. Right on the money. Okay. So let's copy this image now. And this is how you're going to be able to bring things over. I meant to show this much earlier, but you can go to copy, job ID, and then just bring it over to VC Create to bring any prompt from your Midjourney account to VC Create here. So let's do that. Okay. Once we're done going through the parameters here, I will be combining one of you guys, similar to like how this is here. This is just such a cute image. I really do dig it. But let's go ahead and move on to the next parameter here. So, okay, we have. I mean, I could do quality. I could I'm gonna go to the website for the next one. It's so spot on, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's go to the website here, go to create, and then we can see inside of the settings here the like basically like a summarization of a lot of the different parameters that are here. This is not all of them. There's a reason I started on Discord for this because there are more parameters that you can find. You can find them at the parameter list that Midjourney has a wiki. I in fact made an entire comic where I basically was like I have superpower I'm very good at what I do because I read the wiki. That was the entire reason why. That it's like kind of like how One Punch Man, he just exercised a lot, right? I was like I just read the wiki and it made me more powerful than anybody else. So yeah, there you go. There's the parameter list. That will give you everything that you can do when it comes to the codes you can write. But Midjourney.com also includes some basic like sliders for the aesthetics here. So if we wanted to amp that weirdness up, we can do that here, so on and so forth. I'll just grab this prompt from earlier. I'll use the punchy one. That one was good. Okay. And let's go ahead and just say multiple comic panels just to give us a nice base on this. I'm going to get rid of this profile for the demonstration. Omniweight and the style reference are matching here. So we have them on very low values, but that's fine. Let's go ahead and now go to settings, and then we are going to crank up the weird to like 1500. It goes up to some really, really high values here for weird. I kind of kept weird towards the end because, frankly, I don't really get it. I use it sometimes when I get like particularly like curious or stuck. But weird tends to drive things away from what I intend to do in a way that I think is kind of alien to me anyway. So if I come into here and you could see the character art's already diverging quite heavily. The style's there, right? Even with the lower style value there. But the like if we just take a look at this, like it feels very much like almost mashed together. I don't know. It's a hard one for me to describe. So let's first try to bring up the Omniweight a little bit. Let's go to like 85, and we'll bring up the style to 100. We'll just set that to default. See if we can get a little more concrete examples out of those before we start really going mid-maxing with weird here. Yeah, no problem. Happy to share that stuff, guys. Um, okay, I think this is a little more productive to go into higher omni weight and style and setting the default. Setting the style weight to default again. So let's just take a quick look see at this one because this one is pretty trippy. I think this is largely what weird does for me is that it tends to add a sort of like at least for my art it does like a photocopy sort of effect on a lot of it. I really do feel like it's like, hey, can I make this a little bit lower effort or a little bit lower aesthetic, or maybe like more like a photocopy. Like it just feels like a lesser version of what I had before. But sometimes you want that aesthetic, right? Some Ito style, right, right. Junji Ito. I actually saw Junji Ito reviewing another artist that I follow on Threads, and he was just glowing about this macabre artist that I follow. And I was so happy for them because I was just like, "Hey, I recognize that! I recognize that! What are you doing here?" And it's just really, really interesting to see the Canadian artist being featured by Junji Ito. Um, but let's see here. Very, very cool. I want to now max out this the weird, and we can see if we can learn anything from it because I feel like I'm still rough with it too. But after this, we are going to create our a character in my style in order to bring them into the images or into the results here and start directing two characters at the same time. It really does help that the styles are unified, that they seem like they belong together in an image. That is mega important, especially for the rendering or how the shadows are done, the shadows and shading and highlights and all that stuff. If those match, you're far more likely to get good results, in my opinion. So we can see here with a weird set to maxed out values. It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre. Like I don't really know if there's a functional reason to ever do this, but it can be done and it can do some weird stuff. Certainly weird. But it feels like I'm looking at a manga from like a story that in a language that I can't understand. That's really what it's coming up for here for me is I feel like this is like an unspoken or unseen language that I'm seeing here in terms of like visual language, not necessarily literal language, like spoken language, visual language. I mean, but okay. We've explored a little bit of weird. I don't really have anything much more to say about it because, frankly, I don't really get it nearly as much as the other parameters. But with that said, let's take a look and see if there's any others on the list before I move on. We've messed around a little bit with Niji. We've messed around a little bit with No, with Tile. Yep, we're good here. There's one more parameter that I think is useful to know, which is the raw parameter. I'm going to do this inside of VC Create. So let's compare just for a moment what happens if we combine. Let's take my prompt from earlier here. Copy prompt. Then I'll paste that prompt into here. And I'm going to simply set this to some pretty decent values. So let's do Omni weight 75 and style weight at 100 just to keep it default. I am going to now set the result to raw. So now the thing is, multiple comic panels might actually be a great demo for that because it is pretty random what we get off of that. So let's try something really concrete. Let's say that he's like Victor is fishing. If you do mention proper names in here, a lot of times it just like in my experience, it just assumes that Victor is is like a person that's featured in this image or the references, but who knows? Maybe it's referencing random people named Victor. Who knows? Who knows what this is doing exactly when it comes to that? But I try to just say generic like just a gender like he is fishing as opposed to proper names. But for this, we'll just go with Victor. I'm just gonna submit this here, and then we're gonna add one parameter to this, which is raw. And we're just going to compare the two results that we have here. Eating a raw hot dog, raw. I know I've said raw a little too many times here. Yeah, I definitely hot dog. But let's go ahead and look at the fishing one here. And then I'm going to ask, after we do the little raw demo here, I'm going to ask Kinky to do some announcements after this. So just give you that warning there. 1990s British TV show broadcast of him. I look like I'm the Cure.
You got it. Yeah, you do. You look like a young, thin Robert Smith.
That's hilarious. But let's go ahead and add raw to this image here. Hyphen raw. I promise that's the last time I'm going to say that. But you can see here that that at least the image here is pretty clean. There's not a lot of noise or things like that because we are leaning quite quite comfortably into the style reference here. But by applying that parameter to this, we actually kind of dive a little farther away from the inference or like the stuff that that Midjourney is able to assume with the images that we've provided. So with this, it's like more literal to our prompt, especially with video. That's where that parameter comes in handy for that. But look at that. Now we have a little bit more diversity in some of the like the color palette has been a little more gray has been added. A little bit the squinty guys, the eyes have been allowed to change a bit more. I think raw is pretty handy for just kind of exploring a not a simple. It's not meant to be simple. It's just exploring what it's like without that additional layer of interpretation or finesse on the results. Okay. Little so many hot dogs. Oh, I had a dachshund when I was growing up, so whenever I see them, I'm like, oh, my little puppy from my teenage years. Her name was Shorty. She was great. My mom hated her.
Was
Like,
she in the club with a bottle full of bub?
yeah, that's exactly what
Shorty in the club,
Shorty.
bottle full of bub.
Yeah, exactly. She was at least the club being pissing in my mom's laundry basket every week. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Moms love that.
Oh yeah, all about it. Okay, all right. So, do you want to do your announcements, Kinky, and then I'll get into starting to transfer someone else's style into mine.
Yes, sir. That's why I hopped on the microphone. I heard my name. Hey, my name's Kinky Kong. I hope everybody's doing great tonight, and I hope that if you're not doing great tonight, that it gets better for you. I know it will. Um, we are going to play a game this weekend, like we do every weekend, called Prompt Battles. Um, you are totally welcome to join us. You don't have to get on the microphone if you don't want to. You don't have to talk loud if you don't want to. You can type in the chat if you want to, but gosh darn it, you're still going to make friends. You're still going to learn how to prompt new things, and you're still going to win free fast hours, whether you play to win or not. You will play though if you want the free fast hours. But yeah, so every weekend we play a game, and we take 10 minutes to fulfill the request of the person who won prior their challenge, right? We do the challenge for 10 minutes, we bring it back, and we put it in something called a poll unit. And the poll unit makes it totally anonymous, so you don't know whose image you're voting on, and you don't know who voted for you. But we get to look at all the images, and we vote for them for 2 minutes. And then after that, we figure out who won that round. And the winner gets a free fast hour. You get free fast hours for participating. You can get free fast hours for bingos and any other number of things. But I really hope you come and play with us. We do this on Saturdays, a little bit later in the afternoon. You'll see the times on the Midjourney calendar. I'll actually post them in the chat too. And on Sundays, we start earlier for our European friends. Sure do hope you come and hang out with those of us who are in here and those of us who are not. But yeah, don't be shy. Come learn about prompting and have fun doing it. Bye bye.
Oh, thank you, Kinky. Appreciate the announcements, and yeah, definitely go to prompt battles.
Appreciate you.
No, I thank you. I definitely go to prompt battles though. It's a great way to learn and get yourself out of the box. At least start thinking out of the box. The Sugawire, you're in Norway, huh? The what I really want to go. I really want to go to the Norway myself. Like I've been wanting to go to Northern Europe. My mother always was hated the cold, so she never brought us up there. But I've been to Europe a lot, just mostly Western Europe. But why don't we just go to Norway right now? Why don't we just do it right now? We'll see what's around. Do you have a favorite place? Or you're welcome to go to Torghatten. It is where I live. Okay, cool, cool. I will butcher every name. I will butcher everything that you say. So let's do exploring. Torghatten. And then let's see here. In oh god, how do you say that? In Brodensund? I don't know how to pronounce that. No, oh Google, stop it. What are you talking? My phone started answering me like. Okay, all right. Let's it's my attempt at Norwegian just sounded like baby speak, I guess. A big mountain with a hole through it. The sun shines through the hole. Brønnøysund. Okay, rolling R's. Yeah. Okay, so let's say that I'll grab my Omni reference here. I'll do that on the website, just a little faster that way. Click this and right click, copy image address. And now I'm going to set my Omni reference to something a little low. So let's go for OW50. And let's set the aspect ratio to something that animates well. So 16:9. And then we will just hit submit on this and see if we at all make it recognizable. I love exploring places in Midjourney. It is too much fun. Ooh, that is cool. I wonder if we're going to see like an artifact of a sun inside of a mountain because of that, right? It's really good at just exploring places. In fact, I put in my local cathedral back in my parents' hometown, and it did a really good job, like recreating the entire cathedral just by the name of the cathedral itself. And you can see that we're starting to get patterns that remind me of that image that you sent. There's a hole in a mountain. Now, is it the right mountain? Is it the right like I definitely it's gonna have some variation there. We can use your image as a way to kind of plant the composition to include that hole. But we're gonna start to bring this closer and closer to my character art. This is basically our first result here. Anime scene, anime drawing of a big mountain with a hole in it. Yeah, now you're describing what you want to see and getting it. Yeah, definitely. That's a very direct way to do it. But I want to see how much Midjourney actually understands with my Omni reference there as well. So let's bump up the Omni reference a bit. So I'm going to say 150 now, and then hit submit. But I love exploring places. Oh God. You're just watching the boob tube. Okay, all right. So let's see here. Before the Sherpa, it was kind of crap at the bottom. A lot of round stones to hurt your ankles. Yeah, there you go. But this is look at just what a difference does. 100, adding 100 to the Omni reference. I mean, we are certainly exploring Norway now in a style that's so much closer to my art, just because we increased the Omni weight a little bit. I'm loving these results actually. So let's take a look at them. Yeah, this is really fun here, and it's one of those things where a variation subtle will oftentimes get the shape back as we would like. So like if I come into here, hit 2 and 3 because I like 3 a lot. 3 is pretty rad, but 2 is going to get us probably the closest to the shape of that mountain. The fourth one's pretty close too, but it's using my head as the hole. Head like a hole. Let's go ahead and hit variation subtle on this one. Okay. I love exploring like real places with Midjourney and then going like looking at the real life photos for referencing and trying to make them to match is a really cool way to like confirm your results. But in terms of this one here, we would probably need to describe the hole as like the light shining through the hole inside of the mountain kind of a thing. But we could hone in the shape of it at least with variation subtle. Yeah, it is kind of big. Good, good. Maybe not this big. Maybe not like going into another dimension big, but yes. um, okay, okay. Let's go ahead and start bringing some style. So let's change some art styles here a little bit. I think this is a really fun deep dive in itself, but I'm gonna move on for now. Um, we're gonna hop ourselves to the character portal inside of the Gnarly Studios server. So You'll see it linked inside of VC Text every once in a while. There'll be a link for the Gnarly Studio server. This is where we hang out throughout the week in between my streams. You're going to see comics, you're going to see videos, you're going to see places to chat. We do something called the show after the show where you can come in and hang out and talk to me or anyone else that is in the stream here directly. And it's just a really fun way to coordinate. But just not as often. No, I appreciate you being there, Sugarwire. There's over 2,200 of you guys in there now, so that's really cool to see just so many people making stuff together. But we have a couple AI channels where you can submit your prompts and see people work on them. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to go into the character portal. Boop. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another character from here. The newest one that has been added is Potato Propagator uploaded one called The Three Sisters, but Sarith from Alistair actually is the newest character that has been submitted. Every time someone does an update, they'll bump up to the top, but I recognize we haven't done this character yet. And there's a whole breakdown for her here. The hybrid of Sarah and Wraith. Tone is ethereal and commanding and haunting. Implied meaning is the devious ghost, and so on. Like these sort of details that you guys add are so helpful to be able to figure out what you want to see this character doing. You don't have to be completely faithful to it when you guys are prompting, obviously, but I do recommend doing it. It just makes the person so happy to see their vision, brought to life in their own way. And you can see that she's certainly a lady of like a spooky disposition. So I'm going. Lol, I was listening to Twitch and woke up when I heard my name. Good. I woke you up from your nap. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use her image. Okay, so I'm going to copy the address for this. I'm going to go into VC Create. You know what? Actually, I'll do this inside of the website so it's a little more visual for you guys. You guys get a little more of a hands-on or a little more of a visual description of what's happening here. I'm going to paste the link for the image, and you can see it by default will place it inside of the image prompts. We do not want that. What we want is to actually use it as an Omni reference, and we want to use my profile pic as the style reference. So to effectively convert this character to my style. So let's drag me to the style reference, and then we'll drag her to the Omni reference. Okay? And now I'm just going to describe the art style. Let's do rough black ink art. Let's just do character art. We'll just go with very, very straightforward what we want to add to this. But let's add the parameters now. So for style weight, I'm going to go a little higher than normal because we really want to push that we want this particular style. So let's go for 200 on that. And then for the Omni weight, I want a little bit of flexibility in our results as well. So let's go for 50 on that. I think that's going to be a decent combo here, and we'll adjust them as needed with the future results. Let's take a look. Ideally, we don't see any color because we are kind of leaning ourselves away from the original character art here. And you can see just how much influence the Omni reference has on the fourth result that's showing up here. It's basically the exact same composition, right? But on the other three results, it's so much closer to what I was expecting. We have her art style, we have her character design, I mean, right? But we see her now with the black and white ink style that's here. So that's really cool. I want to go a little farther when it comes to getting away from this sort of like I'm looking at art from a photograph of art on a table or anything like that. I'm going to move away from that by using raw. That's why weird is still on. Okay, yes, this is not a bug. This is not a bug. This is intentional, but it is something that does throw me off every once in a while about the website. in the settings function, you want to make sure that you are that your settings are set before you submit them. They do not show up in red anymore, like if you've changed the settings here. So I had my weirdness set to 1500 on that result. That's why that was happening. So let's go ahead and hit submit on this one more time. Yeah, you made her weird. Oh, I offended. So offended. But let's see what this is without the weird on there. We should be able to see the hoods always pop. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. We're getting much more in line with the character art style here, or the art design. So yeah, look at that. Okay. And we still have a lot of anime influence. I think the fourth one's actually getting me much closer to, I would say, like closer to the reference we have here. So let's pump that up even more. We'll hit the use button here, and I'm gonna pump up the. Are we still doing weird? Ah, I hate this setting so much. Hold on a second. Why is this now overwriting what I'm doing? How weird. Right. How weird. Indeed. I really do not like that setting. Is it gonna do it again for me? Okay. I hate being contradicted as I am actively talking about something. Okay. All right. There we go. Much better. Much better. Um, I'm just gonna rage at Midjourney for a second. Okay, this is what I was expecting from the beginning. Was let's get some big eye versions of her character, because that's gonna make everything a lot more matchy. She has sort of Sage's anger, honestly. With this one, it's really cute. But let's go ahead and pick the one that we feel like is closest. So we're looking at her here. She's very pretty. She's got some pretty decently long hair. I'm gonna go with this one here. Okay. So let's copy this image. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Photoshop, but we don't have to use Photoshop. We can actually use the website too. Let's do that. I don't want to keep relying on Photoshop. So let's go ahead and grab my image. Boop. Copy that. Copy image address. And now I'm going to hit edit and then open in editor here. Oh, it already did that for me. Neat. Okay, so now I'm just going to expand the canvas here, and then paste the image. Come on. Okay, there we go. Just drag and drop it from the image bar there. Boom, it's in now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the move function here, and I'm going to place these characters side by side. Let's go ahead and expand the canvas a little more. And there we go. Okay. So I should be able to now hit download image, and it'll just give me this image. I don't have to upscale it. So if it bugs out on you in any way, like it yells at you for some reason that you, like we should be fine to upscale this because we would need to prompt something here. But we don't have to do any of that. We could just download whatever composition or whatever image gets smashed together here. So we can open that up to confirm, and it's there. We have it as now one image. So I'm going to right click on that. Actually, I'm going to bring this into the editor, create here. Create. Okay. And now we are just going to drag and drop that into the prompt bar here. Downloads. Boop. There we go. Now that it is in the bar, we actually can just right click on it to get a URL for this image, and we can now go right back to VC Create and start doing some fun stuff. Hey Josh, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you. See you next week, man. So now that I have a URL for this image featuring two people, we just need to make sure the prompt talks about two people in order to create some interesting results. So let's say multiple comic panels depicting two people. Let's have them. What do you guys want us to do? Like Alistair? Do you have anything that you want to do? Or want your character to do with Victor? Happy to throw that in there. And while you guys are, well, she is a spy. Yeah. Give me a little scenario then. All right, let's do that. That's great. Doing something weird, right? No, 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 don't, no. We're not going to do any more weird. At least not from the parameter perspective. But let's do this. Let's do this. The multiple comic depicting two people. A blonde woman is hiding behind the brick wall corner, or the corner, the street corner. Let's do street corner. Behind a street corner, as he is like reading comics. Reading, like, that's what I would be doing if you snuck up on me at any point in time. There's a good chance that I'm just like in my local like bookshop, comic shop, like just reading. So let's see here, behind a street corner as he is reading a magazine at a cafe. Let's go with that. And I'm going to set the aspect ratio to 16:9. And now I'm going to include the Omni reference, so OREF, and then paste the two images, the image of the two characters smashed together here. And then we'll set the Omni weight to something like 60, 50, 70, something like that. Let's go for 70. The higher it is, the more likely we're going to get these two characters to look the same or to look accurate to this image, but also the more likely we just get them standing side by side to each other. So let's go ahead and submit that and see what we get. I'm not going to add a style reference on top of this. I really just want to see what these results do first, and then we can kind of embellish it in different directions with all the parameters that we explored today. So let's take a look at what we got. I actually think the multiple comic panels is going to hurt us on this result. And I'll explain why in a moment. Is that a VHS box? Yes, it is. VHS box art. There you go. Nice. Okay. So, out of the first results that we got here, we definitely got reading magazines. We definitely have Victor sitting at a cafe in some of them, but it's not really what I intended the image to have. It's adding a sense of randomness from the comic panels prompt, because it's like, what comic panels? Like, there's so much potential inside of that phrasing. So why don't we get a singular panel and then start to build a story off of that? So we'll say instead of multiple comic panels depicting two people, we're just going to get rid of that line entirely and say that it's just a blonde woman is hiding behind the street corner as he is reading a magazine at a cafe. But this is something that I've recommended in previous streams before, is that you really want to include whatever medium that you're going. That's why I did comic panels first, but you want to include some kind of medium, some kind of direction for the actual like what you're consuming. I tried to aim for whatever's the end product of what I'm trying to make as the the starting point for that. So let's just say that it's a manga or like an anime screen cap, and I'm putting that towards the end of the prompt. Now it's gonna feel like a Junji Ito. I feel like, because it's trying to do anime in all black white like this. It's certainly gonna be Ito-esque, right? But I'm seeing Animu magazine at a cafe. Nice, nice. I like where you're going with that. But let's take a look at what happens here, just by getting rid of comic panels first. It's going to be having her reading. A blonde woman is hiding behind a street corner as he is reading a magazine. And then what did it do here? It made her. Lol, let's not do weird things. Just have them staring at each other. Yeah, we're totally not going to do any weird thing. Look at this. Wow. Oh my god, it's like the other way around on these, but like I love the amount of influence anime screen cap is having on this. Now the art style is definitely peering away, but we are seeing a her influence in mine is just huge. I like the third one. Yeah, the third one's really good. Let me now try to bring the black and white style back in there a little bit, because the anime screen cap is definitely dominating these results. So let's go ahead and say that this is a black and white anime. Victor's eyes spying at you as a vibe. Yeah, yeah, no. I make everyone uncomfortable. It's all good. I got buggy ass eyes. It's still having her reading the magazine, so we can really reinforce it to be the other way around, because I do want to get as accurate to the prompt as possible. As much as like a nice result can guide us in a direction that we weren't really expecting, right? I do try to keep it as unified here. I see a weird scene of two characters. Okay. Okay, black and white anime solved the color problem when it came to getting the art styles to be closer. It's still definitely that kind of overproduced anime aesthetic, but that's because of anime screen cap. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit reroll on this. And this time, I'm really going to try to reinforce my intention with this. And so, a blonde woman is hiding behind the street corner as he reads the magazine in a cafe, being at the start of the prompt, I think is the main issue here. So let's say that he is reading a magazine at a cafe. A man with wearing black. I usually say wearing black to represent the entire aesthetic. Like not black shirt, not black hat, not black hair. The reason why is because it tends to focus on whatever body part or that I'm wording here. So just wearing black is enough. A man wearing black is reading a magazine at a cafe. Okay, start off with that. And then a blonde woman is hiding behind him. Is hiding behind a street corner. Let's go ahead and get rid of everything after that, except for black and white anime screen cap. Okay, and so now that we have this being the bigger emphasis, there are additional parameters that we could dig into, like with weighting individual parts of the prompt, but I'm not going to get into that. That is an easy way to get not only confused, but it's just not reliable anymore, in my opinion. So I'm just going to move on with this. The prompt order matters more, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and submit this. It's almost like Betty Boop. I'm getting a little bit of young Betty Boop out of this. Not available in V7 anyway, right? Yeah, I definitely keep forgetting that specific like weighting different parts of your prompt is a V6 thing. But I think we're gonna get it off of this result here. So let's take a look. Yeah, we're gonna get it on that first one. This is gonna be awesome. If I remember correctly, and feel free to correct me on this, by the way, is that prompting, like what is it, weighting individual elements of your prompt was not a desired thing or something they wanted to move away from. I don't know if it's going to come back, but yeah, exactly. I remember David speaking specifically against it, so I'm not sure if that's going to come back. Okay, all right. We definitely got what I wanted out of this one here. So let's go ahead and upres the first one here. She is not only behind the corner. This is technically on a street, and it's technically a corner that she is on. We have a Victor-like character sitting here. The quality of this is just impeccable. Like, I'm loving this. We would need to clean up some of the background, like wording and stuff, but this is awesome. And then what are you doing here, Nixie? Ooh. Yeah, no, I love these sort of like low angle, like shot from the like ground up, almost. Oh, it's not Worm's Eye, but it's definitely close. Let's go ahead and now take a look at this one here. I want to do a little bit of variations on this one. Now that we know that we're able to get the right sort of composition out of this, we can start to increase the omni-weight to bring the character art styles back, or just the character art designs closer to our original design. So let's go ahead and try that as well. But I want to do a variation subtle on this because it just got everything so right on this. I think that we might get some good stuff out of a variation subtle here too. But I'm going to go ahead, re-roll this. And whenever I'm using multiple characters, it's quite common for me to actually bump up the omni-weight quite high to make sure that both characters are well preserved out of these. So let's go ahead and set that to first 170. And then I'm going to do one at 270. All right, and this is the variation subtle here. So we could see with the variation subtle, we were able to change her direction a bit to make her a little more curious about Victor here. I love the first one actually. Her pose, I mean, like her expression in this is great. Yeah, look at that. I just love her face here. It's so cute. I love that. But we are definitely diverging more and more away from the character art style. So now though, if I increase the omni weight, look what happens. Victor suddenly looks so much more like Victor. She is no longer being behind the wall, right? Because again, the more we increase the omni weight, the more it's going to bring these two characters like side by side to each other, because that's how it is in the omni reference. We are seeing like at least the second result here is almost dead on to the character art styles. So what that why I'm again a Muppet. Thank you guys. Thanks for making me a Muppet. But what this teaches us is that maybe we need to change the actual Omni reference to match our intention a little better. And this could be handy in order to get us a little closer. So we could go into edit here. Where was it? I have to go to edit all here, I guess. Oh, that's right. I didn't save it because yeah. That'll be an easy fix for me. Hold on a second. This one I'm gonna do inside Photoshop because I'm just gonna go real fast with this. Um, I will drag our image that we had exported here, and now I'm going to just shrink her down a little bit here, something like this. Okay. And then I'm going to save this image. And the thing is about this is that whenever we upload, so I'm going to go back to the Midjourney website here. Whenever we upload an image, we can actually say, "Hey, preserve the alpha channel in this image." So I'm going to hit upload image, select our image here, and you notice that the alpha channel is actually preserved around the character here. So what we can do now is that we don't even have to we don't even have to erase anything because how clean this cutout is. We could just say two characters. Hold on a second. Oh yes, I have to make some kind of edit, so I'm just gonna hit in anywhere in the alpha channel. You can just click a dot, boop, and then that'll work. And you know that you did it because the reset layer button has been now activated. But I can hit submit now on this, and it will simply fill in the alpha channel. This is really, really, really handy if you're doing like I need to replace a background in a character. Okay, so like if I were to take let's say this image from my Photoshop here, if I were to take out all of the white that you see here, like so, I'm just gonna select all that really quick. You could use the Smart Select to do this too, but I'm just going to get rid of all the white that's here. And now I'm going to shrink this down. Just grab this, copy. And does it preserve the alpha channel and copy and paste? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the program. So let's try that really quick. But you could see that just by hitting submit, look at that. We were able to fill in all that alpha channel just with the with just leaving the alpha channel preserved inside of the image. Sorry, I'm a little stumbly today, but let's go ahead and upscale that as well. But I want to show you guys this here. So let's go to new, and then we will include this image. Okay, so it didn't preserve my alpha channel. That's fine. I am going to just do a quick selection here to show this. So Smart Select, select the character, and then I will say erase background. It's the same thing. It's just like as if I had the alpha channel there. I am going to go ahead and also select this negative space that's here. Oops, I already selected that one. Get rid of all these, this one here, and this one here. It does a really good job at this. It does a really good job doing these selections. So I think that's good enough for what I want to show. So now I'll say erase selection, and there we go. We now have this alpha channel here. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is now I don't know, like a French street. Let's go ahead and expand the canvas so we can see the French street a bit more, and then hit submit. But if you're using an image that already has an alpha channel, you can abuse the living crap out of this in order to bring characters from one scene to another, or to include your pre-made background onto a character art and just fill in the gaps, so on and so forth. But you can see, without even a style reference, it was able to recreate a lot of the aesthetic that's inside of this. So alpha channels is mega important to understand, especially when you start to use images as assets like this. Okay, all right. Now that we have this two shot, though, where she is now smaller in the image than he is, I'm going to hit copy image URL, bring us back to VC Create, and we're just going to rerun this prompt that we had here of them sitting at the cafe here. And so I now paste this link right here, replacing the Omni reference. And I'm going to say a man wearing black is reading a magazine at a cafe. A blonde woman is hiding behind him, hiding behind a street corner. And I'm going to really emphasize this by saying far away from him. Boom. And that should be enough. That should be enough to really reinforce what we want it to do while preserving the character art. Yeah, the understanding just like the weights and all that stuff with omni-referencing is huge. She's the drummer and I'm the guitarist. That's great. Let's see here. Oh, there's a lot of fun stuff from you guys. I don't know why this one's making me laugh. It's very very aggressive. Yeah, I'm not surprised someone already hit animate on that one. Let's see here. I want to get our results from the far away here. Oh, there's more reading magazine here. Nice. I have to stay on track. It's so easy for me to be distracted. Okay. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Hell yeah. This is great. So the hiding behind the street corner seems to be the thing that's most lagging here. But oh my god, the character arts are it's just way more preserved in all of these. I am loving this so much. Actually, this is really really good. Let's go ahead and upscale these. I love this. I just love the mood of this. I always love it when Victor's a bit grumpy. So let's go ahead. Let's say upscale to that. And I do like how frumpy she is here. But I definitely want to see a little bit of change in her art style, or a little bit of change in the art here. You can see the line work is a little messy around her. Variation subtle is great for that. It's great for just doing small fixes and tweaks. Okay. She looks like a referee for a soccer game on the bottom right here. That's great. But so just to kind of recap everything we did here, because we did a lot. We did a lot today. We ran through a bunch of parameters. We kind of went through all the basics of largely why I stick to minimalist, particular mediums and a minimalist art style, because it really, really lets me know what I'm doing inside of Midjourney. I feel like I have so much more control of it when I give it only the ingredients of something rather than say a completed image with all sorts of different factors to it, different renders, different textures, different all that sort of stuff. I want to get rid of all that in order just to hone in exactly what each parameter does. So I think we accomplished that today. I think there's a lot of potential in these images here alone, just to be like a story of two people that wind up with each other in some way, but she's a spy, so we have to keep that in mind. But I'm just so happy to dig through all these images of Victor later, because it's going to be a lot of fun to tell a little story with this. Thank you all so much. I want to say that we do have something called the show after the show that you're more than welcome to join. We're coming towards the end of the stream here, so I'm going to make the little final announcements here. The show after the show is on the Gnarly Studio server. You can find a link for it inside of VC Text. And it's a great place to come in and just hang out and see what you guys are all doing. Show off what sort of projects you're making, and I'll take a look at them and give you some advice if I feel like I got something helpful to say. But overall, I just thank all of you for sticking around, especially the folks who stuck around for the whole stream. That's insane. You were insane. Thank you so much. And also, thank you so much to Kinky for being here with me, as well as Ancient Chaos. You guys, both of you guys are just awesome. Thank you all so much. And I hope to see you around next week. We will be doing maybe a gaming related stream, maybe not. We'll see how comfortable we all are. I really want Rhapsody there for that one, so we'll see how we all feel. But thank you guys so much again for being here and hanging out with us. Yeah, Reveille, I troll for you. Nixie, Gom Pasta. Man, there's so many. If I feel like I'm just going to offend people by not mentioning all of them. Lolo Soon, Fractal Bob, Zero, like I said, Reveille, Snoopy, Senior Turkey. Man, Sugar Wire. Thank you so much for joining, man. And just in general, thank you guys again. Thank you so much. All right, you all have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you all next week. If not at the show,
Bye.
Bye.